This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's sake. My brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 28, is that we have some breaking news, some current events, all right, recent current events, where the Persians, aka Iranians, are calling for a Islamic NATO, all right, to counter them JJs, okay, in the Middle East. All right. And this is all happening because of the recent attacks that them JJs, them 1948ers, them small hats did in Qatar. Okay. So when you read this article, and this article is beautiful, hey, it goes to show you, hey, the Lord is working. The Lord is making sure the prophecies are coming to pass. All right. In fact, let me get Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Right. All right. So when the scriptures talk about the kings of the east being prepared, when the scriptures talk about, which I'm going to get into in 2nd Esdras chapter 15, starting at the 28th verse, how the dragons of Arabia are going to join forces with the Carmenians, all right, which are the Carmenians are the Iranians, all right, this is the will of the Lord, all right, this pleases the Lord, all right, because prophecy has to be fulfilled. So let's get into this, because this is Yapa breaking news, this is Yapa current events, all right, because this is an indicator that we're almost out of here, all right. The Lord is setting things in motion. We're almost out of this captivity. So let's get into this article. Iran, aka the Persians, and Egypt, all right? Now, these are not the original Egyptians during the time of Moses, all right? The current nation that's residing in Egypt are the Arabs, the descendant of Ishmael, all right? These are Arab nations, okay? This is an Arab nation, Egypt, okay? The original Egyptians, all right, or as we like to say, Mizraim, okay, they're the descendants of Ham, okay? Which, if you don't know that the original Egyptians were so-called black, all right, you're not making it. You might as well get ready to be hit with a nuke, all right, and get ready, and prior to that, get ready to starve, all right, and get violated, all right, because you're not even close, all right. Anybody who thinks that the original Egyptians are these Arabs, all right, are these brown skin, okay, which we're all brown, but these I'm gonna call it light brown skinned people dwelling in that region, all right, they're not. Okay, the original Egyptians are very dark brown. Okay, all right. I'll show you who the original Egyptians are, and the apostle elders always go into this. Sudanese. Okay, Sudanese. Okay, and South Sudan. Sudanese people. Okay. These are the original Egyptians. Okay, see how tall they are? They were very tall. Okay, all right. Now look at them. Now they threw because they're cursed. All right. After the Lord saved the Israelites from the Egyptian captivity, the Mizraim captivity, that was it. Egypt never came back as a superpower, all right? And they've been, all right, sucking dirt ever since, okay? These are the original Egyptians, okay? And they got forced out by the Arabs, okay? But look how tall they are, all right? They're very tall, tallest humans on earth, right? Okay? This is an indicator that these are the original Egyptians, because when you look at the artifacts of ancient Egypt, all right, or Mizraim, all right, those pharaohs and the Egyptians were very tall people, very tall. Okay, so there you go. Just a little history lesson, lessons within lessons, and they're very dark too. Dark, they look black, so-called black, but they're dark brown. Okay. See how dark they are? All right, very dark, okay? And these are not our people, okay? Just because you see a dark Jake in America, all right, that doesn't mean he goes back to the descendants of Ham, all right? The Lord said that there's a difference between Israel and Egypt. Let me get that. Lessons within lessons. He puts a difference. A dog, Israel. Let me do it this way. I know it's in Exodus, but yep. Exodus chapter 11, verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord Yahweh doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Okay? So just because, all right, let's start with Southern Kingdom, because there's a lot of Southern Kingdom that are like dark, like Wesley Snipes. That doesn't mean they go back to Ham. All right, okay, and that's another thing. This is not a color thing. This is a nationality thing. This is why you wacky tacky plantation Christians, all right, you're through. All right, you don't know what the hell is going on. Just stop teaching the Bible. Put the Bible down. Okay, and get ready to be judged. Okay, you don't know what the hell is going on. Anyway, so back to this beautiful article right here. All right, because when you see this, it pertains, all right, to prophecy. So Iran and Egypt. Okay, Iran. And that's another. Here's another thing. The Iranians go back to Elam. Okay. They just ended up taking on that Muslim religion, but it wasn't always so. All right, they were originally into Hinduism. Okay, let's look that up. Okay, was Iran into Hindu before Islam? There we go. See, this is why AI be pissing me off sometimes. They're like, prior to Islam, ancient Israel was not practicing Hinduism, but a distinct faith called Zoroastrianism. Despite being separate religions, Zoroastrianism and the early Vedic religion that influenced Hinduism shared a common origin and many similarities. See, it influenced Hinduism, so they were, it was Hinduism, eventually formed into Hinduism. Okay, but that's what the Persians were into before Islam. Okay, so there you go. So just because they're into Islam doesn't make them Arabs. Okay. Yeah, look at this. Parsis. After the Islamic conquest of Persia, many Zoroastrians fled to India. Now, why would they go to India? Because India's into Hinduism. Okay? See, there, this is why you got to chew the meat, spit the bones. Why would they flee to India? Because they were all into the same belief system, okay? With this all this false idols and gods. So there you go. Just a little lesson on that. Lessons within lessons. All right, scriptures talk about prove all things. All right? That's why you plantation Christians don't know what the hell is going on. So back to this, all right? I'm not going to make this long. So Iran and Egypt, all right, Elam and the Arabs, okay, are spearheading a new calls for a NATO-style alliance in the Middle East as their leaders gather in Qatar on Monday for an emergency summit of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, right? So, which reminds me of Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And here you go. They're being prepared. What are they being prepared for? Talk about sports, all right? Talk about Charlie Kirk. They don't care about, all right, you Americans clipping each other, you Edomite Americans clipping each other, all right? They're getting ready to go against them JJs and you Americans because you're in their region, okay? All right, of being oppressive. So this is it. They're getting ready. The proposal spurred by Israel's recent strike on residential compound in Doha that housed Hamas negotiators represents the most serious push in decades for a unified regional defense pact. Newsweek has contacted the foreign ministers of Egypt and Iran for comment. Why it matters. The latest escalation reflects a dramatic shift in the Middle Eastern security priorities following a 12-day series of JJ attacks on Iranian targets. That's another thing. If you can't get hip to why we say JJs instead of saying this word, all right, then more likely you're not part of the elect, okay? You will not be saved, all right? You are getting destined for nuke, all right? If you make it that far, all right? Because America, all right, and that statehood of the JJs is about to be going to a gauntlet of tribulations. The Lord is about to tear this place up. Series of JJ attacks on Iranian targets early this year. Ongoing strikes in Gaza and JJ's recent attack on Doha. Muslim leaders are increasingly portraying the JJs as the destabilizing force across the region. Right. There you go. Okay. Hey, these JJs are setting, all right, you Edomites up to lose your empire, to lose your rulership. Okay. And it's all done through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai because you're not fit to rule, okay? You are not fit to rule. You're not fit to manage the earth. Arab and Iranian officials, look at that. Oh, that right there, they know. Arab and Iranian officials, see? So they know the difference. Warned that failure to act could leave states across the Middle East vulnerable to further JJ operations. The emergency OIC summit is now seen as a pivotal moment to determine whether Muslim nations can transform calls for unity into a concrete collective security framework. Let's go, man. Prophecies are speaking. Okay? It's happening, man. All right? Egypt, commanding the Arab world's largest army, is pushing for a Cairo-based joint military command. Senior Iranian officials are pressing for an even broader coalition. Mohsen Razeh, a former commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, warned that Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Iraq could be future targets unless the bloc acts decisively, declaring that the only solution is forming a military coalition. Right, and they're saying Turkey will be targeted by them JJs. This is a NATO ally. The Bisha hate the whore, okay? And Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, all right, has a whole bunch of business deals with America. Them JJs are about to get cooked, all right? Hey, but this is the time, all right? So let's get it in. Let's get it in. Second Esdras, chapter 15, verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision. and the appearance thereof from the east. Right. It's talking about these eastern nations. All right. Being prepared. All right. The kings of the east being prepared. 29. Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Right. Okay. Hey, people are getting scared now. Bro, it's going to happen. When these Arabs come together, they put their difference aside, all right? And they join forces, okay? Oh, by the way, I want to quantify something. Turkey are Edomites. Let me clarify that too. All right, I got to quantify that because again, people. Again, this is why you wacky tacky plantation Christians, all right, don't know what the hell's going on. Turkey used to be the Ottoman Empire. Okay, the Ottoman Empire, all right, are Edomites, so-called white people. All right, they actually, when you actually do the history, and I've done this, and I know apostle elders have done so many lessons and have found about this back in the late 80s and early 90s. All right, that's why we give them double honors. These Ottoman Turks came from the Caucasus Mountains. All right, they were known as the Turks. Okay, the Turks came from the Caucasus Mountains. Watch, check this out. Where did the Ottoman Turks come from? The Ottoman Turks came from Central Asia and migrated westwards, eventually establishing a state in Anatolia. You see that? Central Asia. All right? The Seljuk Turks. Right, here we go. These Turkic people migrated westward. All right? They came from right here. All right here. Okay? Excuse me. Yeah. The Ottoman Empire, right? Because they ruled all here. So this one established that. They came, all right, from the Caucasus Mountains, from Central Asia, into what they called today to modern day Turkey. All right? These are Edomites. These are so-called white people. Okay? Turkic nomadic group. Yup. The Turkic nomadic group. Okay? There you go. They were controlled the steppes of Southeast Europe and the Crimean Peninsula in the 9th and 10th century. Yep. Okay. All the Caucasus Mountain, Georgia, Russia, all that area. This is where these people came from. These are Edomites. So just wanted to clarify that. Again, scriptures say, prove all things. Let me bring that out. Prove all things. Prove all things. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Right. And which is good is this truth, the wisdom and understanding of the scriptures, knowing who is who according to the Bible. All right. Once again, if you're calling yourself white, Caucasian, okay, Chinese, Japanese, black, Puerto Rican, Haitian, all right, you don't know what the hell is going on, all right, because those are not the nations the Lord created. The Lord created, okay, 18 nations and chose, okay, one nation out of those 18 nations for himself, which is the nation of Israel, all right. And if you want to know where the 18 nations are at, go to Genesis 10, okay. So I wanted to clarify that. So let's go back, okay, because we gotta clarify and quantify things, as the apostle elders always say, because people they start getting confused. All right. 29, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, and all they which hear them may fear and tremble. And these people are fearing and tremble. 30, also the Carmenians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the woods. Right, who are the Carmenians? Let's look into that. Okay. Who are the Carmenians? Okay. Let me make sure I spelled this. Carmanians. I messed this part out. The Carmenians were ancient people from region of Carmenia, modern Kerma province in Iran. See how the scriptures are speaking? They were mentioned in the apocryphal, meaning the Apocrypha. This is why the Apocrypha is part of the Bible, book of Second Esdras, and by ancient writers like Strabo and Arian, or however you pronounce that. The Carmenians were described as resembling the Medes and Persians in customs and language, and were associated with the Persian Empire, sharing its fate and cultural influences. Man, I mean, Google AI mode, as well as Chat GPT. All right, they'll give it to you, man. They'll give it to you. There's no excuses now. All right, so you're seeing, all right, this partnership happening. All right, as well as a NATO ally. All right, an Edomite nation from NATO. Okay, an Edomite tribe. There you go. That's better. An Edomite tribe from NATO. Okay, coming together. All right, but again, this is Yapa, man. 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together. I mean, are they not conspiring? Iran calls for Islamic NATO. Are not these? Is not Egypt? Wait, who is it? Who is it? Egypt. And who's the other Arab? What's it called? Qatar. That's what I meant. Because why they're meeting at Qatar, so Qatar's with this. All right. So yeah, and of course, you got the Persians. They're conspiring together to great power to persecute them. 32. Then these shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. 33. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and in their hosts, meaning the army, shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. All right, so yeah, they're coming after America too, because America is modern day Assyria. Okay. 34. Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. Right. This is clearly talking about, all right, World War III, which we're in the beginning stages of. Okay. You're going to see, all right, warplanes, naval ships, okay, ground troops. All right, 35. They shall smite one upon another. They shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword onto the belly. Right, so a lot of death. All right, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed. Okay, get ready for a draft. You're going to need a draft, America. Okay, when this happens, you're going to need a draft. That's why it's when it talks about the men shall die in the wars. I mean, you could clearly see it. That's why the women are going to cry mourning, having no husband. Let me get that. Hey, it's coming. The prophets are telling you it's coming. The prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Second Esdras. It should be in 16. Should be in 16. Should be in Second Esdras 16. Boom! Here it is. Verse 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Why is that? 34. In the wars, plural. That's why World War III is a global war. Okay? The whole world's affected by it. There's multiple wars throughout the world. Like right now, you got wars in the Middle East. Okay, wars in Ukraine. All right? And don't get it twisted. All right? It's going to get nasty in the Pacific. All right, China's going to get involved too. All right, in America, you're going to have to use your naval ships finally, and you're going to have to contend. All right, well, I don't know what the Navy motto is, but be all you can be. But get ready. But all you young, young people in your late teens, okay, early 20s, get ready for a draft. 34, in the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Right, because with war comes famine. Do you see how they correlate? With war comes famine. With famine comes war. 36, behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Right. Hey, that's why the Lord sent out his prophets to tell our people to receive his word. All right. His words are faithful and true. This is not going away. We're here. We're in, okay, as, I think it's in Platoon. What's his name? Sergeant Barnes. We're in the shit, Well, this world's in the shit, okay? But that's why you need to receive this word and trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, his words are faithful and true, so that you can be saved from this coming war. Because this war is going to slaughter a lot of people. All right, we're just this World War III. We're just seeing the beginning stages of it. It's about to get a lot bigger, a lot graphic, and I like to say a lot spicier. Let's go back. So 35. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Right, this is talking to the Lord's people. Who are the servants of the Lord? Okay? The Israelites. But all the elect are going to receive it. 36. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Right, all these false idols. Okay? 37, like plantation Christianity. They're not talking about this. That's a false god. This is proof plantation Christianity is a false god. They're not talking about what's going on over there in that region and how the Lord's spicing it up for America's destruction, as well as the statehood of the JJ's destruction. 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. Boom. 38. And when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Right. Them birth pains, okay? Which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Right. And that goes, again, this goes to show you that the Apocrypha is part of the Bible, because then our Lord and Savior spoke about those birth pains. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can find it. Birth pains in the Bible. Yeah, Matthew 24 and 8. Yahushua say, all these are the beginning of birth pains. The verse is part of Yahushua discourse of the signs and of the end times. He compares the tribulation disaster that will occur to the intense pain of childbirth. Mark 13 and 8. Similar. Let me go to Mark 13 and 8. Let's get some Mark in here. Okay. Mark chapter 13, 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. You clearly see that. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. Right. The birth pains. Okay. But now there's another one that says, as a scriptures, woman giving birth, symbolic to end times. Give me the passages. right? But this is pertaining to the 70 A.D. when the Romans sacked Judea. All right, you get the point. All right, those birth pains, okay, that you wacky tacky plantation Christians always like to uh, bring about. Okay, all right. These are the birth pains right here. Okay, and again, um, back to this scripture. Okay, these are talking about, all right, the end times. Okay, all these prophecies coming to pass. All right, which is leading to what? Judgment and salvation. 39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Right, there we go. That sorrows. These are the beginning of sorrows. There we go. 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. Who's the Lord's people? The Israelites. Make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Right. So you're not supposed to be holding on to this place, man. You're supposed to be just passing by, okay? Passing through. That's talking to our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Americans who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. All right? We have no stake in this God-forsaken, okay, place. All right? America is not a place to raise children and grow old and build a life. This is a place of our captivity. Your mind is, okay, this is a mindset. You're supposed to be as pilgrim. Yes, you do what you got to do. Be responsible. Pay your bills. Pay your taxes. Take care of your children. All right, but there's a mindset. You're not supposed to be holding on to this place. You're supposed to be getting ready for Yahushai's return, who the world English calls Jesus, and the destruction, which you clearly see is unfolding right before your very eyes. It's getting ready. It's getting spicy. Repent or get hit with a missile, because that's what's coming. All right, I know it's got to be harsh like that. You know. Oh, by the way, just to throw a body shot to you JJs. I may do a lesson. You know, maybe I'll do a follow-up lesson later on tonight. But if you're the chosen people, why are you fleeing your homeland in the end times? That's not what the scriptures say. Anyway, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth of sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep the door, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostle elders. As you can see, we're almost out of here. To the fuses that are watching, keep studying. And when you pray, cover. We're almost out of here. Shalom. Let's go. Shalom.